Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. Now this is an M12, the Tier 7 American SPG, and we're located on the defending spawn of Sand River Assault. And this particular M12 is being commanded by Kulu, and battle is about to commence. Now, the M12, 100 of these were produced, built on the chassis of an M3. They were produced by the Pressed Steel Car Company, and they built 60 of these in 1942 and a further 40 in 1943, and they were used throughout the European theatre of war, otherwise known as the door knocker, because it used to knock down emplacements and bunkers. But they also used them for direct fire, and they could be pretty devastating when they did. The target tank would literally disintegrate under the fire of a 155mm howitzer, which is actually designed on a French design. Okay, he's found his firing position. It's a rather unusual one. It's up in the grid square F1, just behind the corner of that rock. From here he can't really fire at most of the enemy. He's only going to be able to fire at anyone who gets into the riverbed, so he's had to adjust his position a little. Now he's in grid square G1, which is probably a better firing position. Okay, he's got a T-32. Now he can hit that one side on. And of course the side armour is slightly weaker than the frontal armour on these tanks. It's the T-29 trying to make it into the riverbank. Or riverbed, I should say. And that round fell just ahead of the T-29 because he pulled back at just the right moment. But he still got stunned. Stunned a little. Now there's one M12 still around that you can actually go and see at the Artillery Museum at Fort Sill in the United States. It's also known as the door knocker. I think I do have some pictures of that particular M12 on our What Arty Noobs website, but there's a KV3 coming around that corner, and so he is going to be spotted, and he shotguns him for 218 hit points. But the problem is now he's been seen, enemy Arty will be after him, so he's going to have to get into that hole quickly, and he's got a fire, or rather I think the Pershing got the fire. And he's clinging to that wall because if he doesn't, the enemy Arty will be on him in seconds. But the trouble is, enemy Arty now knows where he is. They're going to be looking for the tracer in this spot, so he really can't stay here. He really should abandon this position and, if possible, move up to grid square E1 if it's not occupied. And the Pershing is going to go down and have a quick look. Now, if that Pershing finds that that spot is clear, it'd be a good idea for Vina Kulu to move there. It is vacant. Right, now if he relocates into that position, he can have shots at the enemy with safety of knowing that they can't get at him, or at least they can't locate him. Right, got two tanks together there. He's going to try for a bombardier. Oh no, he unfortunately, battle assistant let him down there, or rather the aim reticule let him down as he moved, and he got a hit there on the T-29. 202 hit points. It really did help that he stunned that KV3 when he did, because he picked up a lot of stun assist off that KV3, because he was stunned all the time that the Pershing was shooting the KV3 to death. Okay, he's loaded, ready to go again. Just needs to get his aim sorted out and rounds out on T-29. Now we don't know if it hit because the T-29 moved away. I don't think he did. I think what he did do is he stunned the KV4 instead, who just appeared at the wrong moment. No, maybe it wasn't a good idea to go up the one line now, because an Object 416 and the Skoda T50 have appeared in the two line, and they're assaulting the Pershing. But he got a hit there on the KV4, and that's 203 hit points, and the Pershing's gone. So Yeah, it looks like it wouldn't have been a good idea going up to E1. It might be that 416 and the Skoda T50 saw that there was targets or tanks of, that he could take out, and he moved into that position. So it might be a good idea for Vinakulu to move, relocate, head south. There's the Skoda. He's attacking the Lurther, and meanwhile Vinakulu's going after the T32. Lining up a shot, almost reloaded. And that T32 I think is after the KV3 on the ramp, on Quickie Baby's ramp. He's stopped temporarily. Oh no, he's just moving very, very gently. He's aiming at the KV3. Line up a shot, round out. No, that's going to miss. It splashed him for 112 hit points, 2 critical hits. We lost the Lurther. The Skoda T50 and the Object 416 know that he's there, so they may start coming in this direction. And somebody flashed, the Panther flashed to the M12, move. At least I think that's his intention by making that indication on the map. Get out of there because the Skoda's coming. Right, there's 3 minutes 42 seconds left of the game, and Vinakulu's going after this Object 416 who's been taken out. There's a T32 still up on the ridgeline. No, the rocks are stopping there. No, rocks are in the way there. Fires around there, and well, he knocked over the trees and bushes. Question is, where's that Skoda T50 gone? Right, Noobs has managed to make it into the southeast corner of the map. There's still 7 enemy tanks out there. Now, basically they are in the lead, but the problem is that 6 enemy tanks now out there. They've managed to get another one. They got the Udas. The trouble is, though, that there's very little time left on the battle. And the position he's picked is very, very dangerous for that Skoda T50. Might come up at any moment. If he does, to try and get at the Panther, he might spot Vinakulu at the same time. Right, T32 about to be assaulted by the T30, and he's been stunned. Vinakulu's going to fire as well, I think, any second. Try and get your aim. You've got a red line, now you've got a green line. Go, round out. No, it hits. He was lucky he didn't stun his own teammate there. That's the 2-minute warning. Right, the T32 is in a difficult position there, but he can hit that T30, okay? And he's almost reloaded. Round out. Well, lands nearby. 2 critical hits. I think he tracked the T30. There's the Skoda. Oh, the Skoda went up onto the ridgeline, so he's not headed this direction. So it might be a good idea for Vinakulu to actually head north now, because then at least he would get away from where the enemy think he is. That's the 1-minute warning, the 1-minute hooter. And he gets a stun on the T30, causes 113 hit points of splash. Oh my god, he is now only got 1 teammate alive. And that's the Jagdpanther 2. Now the question is, why hasn't the enemy Arty been firing at this position? I think that's probably because they've been too busy firing at the other tanks on his team. But instead of actually running away, he's actually going to hold up against the cliff face knowing full well the enemy Arty are not going to be able to get at him, and he's the last one alive on his team as the Jagdpanther 2 has been taken out. No, he has decided to move. He is going to move. The enemy cannot cap out. They haven't got enough time. He's got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's succeeded. He's won. Oh, and the enemy Arty gets a shot in at the last second, but it's too late because he's already won. So that would have been a consolation prize anyway if he had actually been hit. But let's have a look at the end of battle results. Well, it's a third-class tanker for Vinakulu in the M12. He also picked up a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 8. But he did take away the medal that everyone would like to get, the Kolobanov Medal for standing alone against at least 5 enemy and surviving. Normally that would come from wiping out all of the enemy tanks, but in an assault battle you only need to remain alive and prevent the enemy from capping out during that 10-minute period, and he succeeded by staying alive. Now let's have a look at the team scores. Well, he didn't get the highest damage. He was actually mid-table with 880 hit points. He didn't get any kills, which puts him right down at the bottom, I'm afraid, there. And when it came to base XP, he was second with 693, just 1 experience point below the AMX30. But let's have a look at the detail report. He fired 13 rounds, got 4 direct hits, 4 penetration and 7 splash, did damage of 880 hit points, of which 662 were at more than 300 meters. He hit 5 of the enemy, but he didn't get any kills, but he did do some stun assistance damage of 1,565 hit points off 11 stuns. On a standard account, he earned 22,693 credits, and after ammunition resupply, he had 8,133 credits. He received base XP of 693, and there were no multipliers, so that's all he took away. So, a bit disappointing on the scores, so to speak, but the one thing he can take away is the fact that he won the battle, and he got a Kolobanov to do it as well, so well done there, Vinakulu. If you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that we'll be featuring in our next video.